Hi, my name is Natalie Dubavitskaya, and this is my long video for the final project for the Big Data Analytics class. And my topic is machine learning with H2O.ai. So I selected a review of technology for my final project. So first of all, a little background on what the technology is and how it came about. So H2O.ai is a startup company in Silicon Valley, and it was founded by Suri Sambadi and Cliff Click, who are the big names in data science, and also there are some pretty significant professors on the Scientific Advisory Council for H2O. So all of them are well known in the world of data science. H2O software is open source and freely distributed, so anyone can download it and use it. So what's so special about H2O? And this is taken from the H2O.ai website, so there's a lot of marketing language in this. So basically, this technology makes machine learning really easy, and anyone can use the software and use its predictive analytics capabilities to solve the most challenging business problems. So like I said, it's open source, and also it has a very easy to use web interface that's called Flow that we're going to take a look at later. And it can also be used through familiar interfaces such as R, Python, Java, Scala, and JSON. The important thing about H2O is that it offers enterprise support, and the list of clients includes some fairly large companies such as Cisco, PayPal, Ford, eBay, and a number of others. I didn't want to list all of them. So there are several machine learning models available within H2O.ai. So the first one is GLM, and GLM is the one we're going to look at in our demo later. There's also distributed random forest, k-means clustering, gradient boosting machine that uses an ensemble of decision trees, Cox proportional hazard, and naive Bayes classifier. There are also a number of algorithms for training, and training with backpropagation is performed by LBFGS algorithm, and it's also the one we're going to be using in our demo. There's also one DeepNet model. It's just one model that H2O.ai currently has, and it's a multi-layer perceptron. This is not covered in my project. It's really, there's a lot that this platform can do, and it's just not, the scope of the project wouldn't allow to explore all of their capabilities. So we're just going to focus on a couple of them. H2O also comes with good integration tools and can be integrated with HDFS, Amazon S3, SQL, and NoSQL. And as a company, H2O has a number of products. So H2O.ai is only one of them. It's the open source platform for artificial intelligence, and I already talked about what it can do. That it integrates with R, Python, Scala, Hadoop, Spark, and can be installed on a laptop. And actually, for my project, I installed it on my laptop, so I did not want to use it with Spark. There are also a couple of other technologies offered by the company. So sparkling water is another one, the enterprise-grade machine learning pipelines. And another one is Steam. So I have very limited knowledge of what those are, because the project the focus of my project was H2O.ai, so, but I thought it was important to mention that there are other products that the startup company designed. So this is also taken from the website, and it's just basically a graphic illustration of what I've already talked about. Yeah, of course, before we use anything, we need to install it. So the installation of H2O.ai, and like I said, I just installed it on my laptop, which is a Windows 7 operating system laptop. Installation is very simple. So the latest stable release is available at this link, and once you download a zipped file. The next thing you do, you navigate to the folder where you downloaded it, and basically you run these commands in your command line. It's going to take care of all the installation. And the next step would be to point your browser to this local host. And what that does in the installation process, it opens the Flow interface. And Flow interface is really interesting. It's a very a unique capability of H2O.ai. So it's an interactive graphic interface, and the huge advantage of it is that somebody with no programming experience whatsoever could learn easily how to use it and perform various big data analysis by just using Flow. So it's a huge advantage for somebody who is not familiar with any of the programming languages used for big data analytics. Now for my project specifically, the data set. There are many publicly available data sets that we have access to. I wanted to do something fun, so I found a data set on wine quality. The data set is so that's the preview of what it looks like and what information it has. So there are 12 numeric variables in it. And it's all about different characteristics of a type of Portuguese red wine called Vinho Verde. And there's actually two data sets there. There's a white wine and red wine data sets. I went with red wine because of personal preference. So that's the data set we're going to be looking at with H2O.ai in my project. And like I said earlier already, we're going to use GLM, and we're going to do a simple and multiple regression, and we're going to use LBFGS algorithm. Actually, I have two different scripts, so one for simple regression and one for multiple, and I would like to go to multiple because, well, it's just more interesting in my opinion. So let's take a look at multiple regression. So now let's demonstrate how this technology works. And we're gonna look at the Jupyter Notebook because it's easier to demonstrate what happens when you execute parts of the code. So first we're going to import everything, so H2O and the generalized linear estimator, and import pandas. Next we're going to initialize an H2O session, and by default it will use all the cores, and we're gonna let it use 2 gigabytes of memory. We also remove all the other sessions that may have been running. And here we go. The review checks and initiates the session. We import our data, and I always want to see what I have imported, so we're going to take a look at the data frame. Here we go. Very good, so it looks like it imported correctly. Next, we're going to split our data into a training, testing, and validation sets. And We don't have to specify the size of the validation set, but the way we do training and testing, they have to add up to less than 100%. So we'll go, and as you can see, our big data is not actually that big, judging by the length of our training and testing sets. We're going to define our explanatory variables and our target variable, and for this model, our explanatory variables are all of these. So everything except the last column, which is quality. Quality is our target variable. So we're going to predict quality of wine based on all these other factors that go into winemaking. So we specify our target. Next, we're going to build and train our model, and here are some of the specific to H2O.ai parameters that I'm going to talk about. So the first one is model ID, and model ID is just the name we give to our model that will let us easily locate it in Flow later. For family, we specify what kind of regression we're running, so Gaussian is what we specify here. Solver, there are a few of them available in H2O. We use an LBFGS, and that's the algorithm that is good for white data, and it does a lot of iterations during training. So it could, on the really large data sets, it could take some time to execute. Our data set is not that big, so we can use LBFGS. Lambda is a measure of regularization to make sure that we're not overfitting, and I chose this value because of trial and error, so I experimented with different values, and that one seems to be working just fine. Next, we're going to train our model, and as we do that, it prints out a lot of model stats, so we can take a look at the stats. So we are going to look at the training and validation data metrics, and if you look at R squared, the model is probably not that amazing because R squared value is pretty low. And then there's other metrics, and I honestly don't understand all of them. So, but of course that's good information for when you are training your model. So next, we are going to make predictions, and after we make predictions, we're going to bind our predictions to our main data frame and print the results. So let's see. Let's see what we got. So here's our testing data set, and here's our predictions. And well, it's not too bad. Not too bad actually. Pretty close. So we did a good job with this regression model. Now let me show you Flow really quickly. So this is Flow. So this is what opens up when you go to your local host right here, and it's a web interface for H2O.ai. Now here, if you don't have any programming experience, you can use the Flow tutorial and learn those basic commands that you can just type in here in this window, and you just press Shift Enter, kind of like you would in IPython notebook, and you'll get results. So basically, you can write the same script in Flow by using this Flow, the kind of like SQL-like commands. And we have our model that we just ran here with some charts and a lot of statistics, like a lot of them that we already saw. And some of them are only displayed in Flow. And here are the metrics that we saw in IPython as well. So the Flow is a really good visualization tool and interface for H2O.ai. Very easy to learn and use. There aren't that many drawbacks as far as I could find. So apparently it can overfit the model, especially when using GLM. And that's why you gotta make sure you use regularization. For me personally, because it uses all the cores, if you just run it on your laptop and when you work in H2O and you try to do something else, it's going to be really difficult because it just maxes out your system. So that's a drawback that I have noticed. But overall, H2O.ai is a really powerful machine learning tool. Pretty easy to use, easy to install, and it has some great capabilities that are even good at enterprise scale. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.